something extraordinary is about to unfold. Over the next several weeks, Dr. Paul Drouin will unveil a powerful new series of music videos, a stunning visual journey through his life, his calling, and his groundbreaking career. Created in conjunction with his highly anticipated new book, The Medicine of Consciousness, a doctor's journey beyond conventional medicine, set to be released later this year, this series brings his story to life like never before. Using the latest advancements in AI-driven music and cinematic video creation, each release blends innovation with inspiration, transforming decades of experience in holistic health, alternative medicine, and the founding of Quantum University and Project Noosphere into an immersive audio-visual experience. This is more than a series of videos. It's the story of a doctor who stepped beyond convention, who explored the frontiers of consciousness, and who helped pioneer a new vision of medicine for the world. New videos will premiere bi-weekly. Be among the first to witness this extraordinary journey. Subscribe to the Quantum University YouTube channel and experience every powerful release as it unfolds. The journey begins now.
Welcome everybody to another chapter, and this one is about the university itself, about the journey of the student. And university is not just a degree granting university. It's not just a place where you sign and to get a degree. No, it's a journey where the student discover themselves, and we'll have the story of few of these students that went to a healing journey. And this is the next step, and we will have also periodic question just after that. So, and then welcome to this chapter about Quantum University, more than just a school or university. It's a community of healing. Thank you to be there.
In the heart of learning's flame, a quiet light was born, not in labs of broken cells, but where the soul is torn. Quantum halls became the womb where wisdom touched the pain, and every lesson whispered low, you can be whole again.
The alma mater that heals is the right one, when knowing and being are one in the sun.
It's not a classroom made of walls, it's consciousness where the calling calls.
Oh, the field remembers who we are, beyond the wound, beyond the scar. In every mind that dares to see, healing is our true degree. The alma mater that heals is the right one,
Where learning becomes illumination, from molecule to thought divine. We rewrite fate
through the field of mind. Laura studied light and breath while cancer claimed her name, but knowledge turned to medicine and set her cells aflame. Her kidneys sang with energy, coherence found its way. She learned that education heals in every word we say. Learning is healing, her voice declared. The heart that knows is the heart repaired.
across the sea from old Japan. Sachiko faced her fate, 5 dark shadows in her lungs, but she chose to meditate.
I became gamma, she softly smiled. I tuned my mind to light, and tumors bowed to higher waves, surrendering to sight. From stillness rose a radiant plane. Her body followed what her spirit became. Oh, the mind commands healer's way. The alma mater that heals is the right one, where science and soul are woven as one. In every heartbeat, every prayer, consciousness answers everywhere.
On a Hawaii shore, a mother wept her daughter lost tonight. But Dawn remembered what she'd learned, how thought becomes the light. Through breath and vision, love unbound, coherence redesigned. Her child awoke, the veil was torn, and healing was redefined. From tragedy to miracles, pro-consciousness had changed her heart. Restored her love when doctors turned away. With Crystal's prayer and mindful care, she built a brighter day. And Lynn, the nurse who healed herself, found peace beyond the pain, while George rewrote his cancer's code through consciousness again. They proved what every seeker feels, that matter bends when the spirit heals. Oh, the alma mater that heals is the right one, where every soul becomes the sun. Not just to study, but to be the medicine of unity. From gamma waves to sacred breath, we rise beyond disease and death. This is the classroom of the divine, where healing and learning intertwine. The alma mater that heals is the right one, the living proof that we are one. So sing, oh hearts of quantum light, the doctor's art, the student's right. To know thyself is to be made whole, to heal the world from the center of soul. The alma mater that heals is the right one, and consciousness, the work begun.
So the alma mater that heals is the one is right. The journey that the student assign in when they get at university is a path. It's not just accumulating from the left brain information. Sometimes, and that has been what I went through when I went medical university. Of course, you have to gather a lot of information to be able to do this process of diagnose and understand disease. It's more than that. It's a journey of discovery of yourself. And along this journey, you saw that these students, went to healing, spontaneous healing, but it's even a little bit more than this. And some are more committed, they go and they're very serious about it and they listen to class. So there is no shortcut if we think about exploring this healing journey. And it has been also for myself, the university, and it's the testimony of other students that came in, and either through someone who was sick in the family or themselves, in research of other way to approach, imbalance. I don't want to say the word disease. So, can you add something, Dr. Tara, at this point?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Paul. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm happy you're joining us today. Today, we are continuing our conversation with Dr. Paul as we explore another exciting chapter. Whether you're a current student or a graduate or just learning about quantum university, we are so happy you're here. Dr. Paul, before we dive into our questions, I like to share something that I think reflects the impact Quantum University has had on so many of our students. One thing we hear time and time again is that Quantum University doesn't just provide an education, it transforms lives. I can certainly relate to that myself. 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I discovered Quantum University and it completely changed the direction of my life. Every student has a unique story. We hear those stories every day, but there is one common thread that they often describe their experience here as life changing, transformative. Let me ask you this question. How can studying at Quantum University become such a transformative journey, life-changing journey?
Yeah. So when we speak about transformation, I think is the key word. In other words, you cannot approach the study of consciousness without changing your perspective on to understand life, not only life, yourself, your origin, where you come from, and how many times you reach this challenge of health, because they most of them associate to belief system, to emotion not resolved. And the study of consciousness give a deeper perspective that in some way, connect the heart and the brain together. And this is not something we just heard. You look at the literature, the philosophy, all these people trying to understand how mind and heart work together. What is, the source of existence. So when you touch at quantum physics and the nature of consciousness and you go deeper and deeper in the core of this understanding, you reach the bottom, which is also your source, and how you relate with this field of infinite possibilities. So most of the time when you relate with life, it's like, you take for granted, or you take, for what you see. When you open the field of consciousness, then you open the field to the unseen, and you start to understand beyond all the mystery, from philosophy to religion to spirituality. And for many people, it's like connecting all the dots together. So this is not, it's not just a study of information. It's a study of knowing in depth the core of yourself. And this is why we associate meditation with it. It's like, hey, you have two legs to learn. You have the brain, which is more rational, scientific, but you have also the heart. And today there's another challenge that came along, the AI. People, look at AI, which is not, I don't see it as an enemy. You see, we use it in some way to create these illustrations that you see. But AI is more like an horizontal process where you can acquire or relate a mass of information. And we feel very threatened by this. You say, hey, it's 5 years, they said they will reach a singularity, a point where all the information of the world will be contained, but never will be able to compete with the depth of knowing about yourself. This is what is unique to the human being, is the depth of consciousness, and how you dive in meditation and start to relate with yourself in a personal way. We have so many things to say about it, but instead to be threatened, of course, they can take advantage of this horizontal intake of information, because your brain will never be able to compete with this mass of information. And singularity in AI is different. It's like a point where you have gather all the information in the universe, in the world, but you cannot dive within and experience the core of who you are. And this is in some way this tangent, this diving within, consciousness that, you start to experience with quantum university, this the quest of knowing in depth. And this has, has been the talk, the speech of, our first philosopher, the Greek, looking at the plateau at the cave, and they already have intuition, this depth of consciousness, and some, through time, has expressed this in art, in philosophy, in spirituality. But for now we reach a point where you have a university is the embodiment of this, and in some way the proof of it is it's transformed life. It's not like a passive information. No, we have students that went through a process of healing, experiencing this information, and we're just at the beginning of it, just at the beginning of this. So it's fascinating. Yeah, it's incredible.
It's incredible, yes, and even this video, you mentioned some of our students who went through incredible transformation in their health. Some students they joined with so many personal challenges with their own health and experience incredible healing journey that's really truly inspiring. Uh, Actually, recently, you received a beautiful email from one of our students, which actually now graduated, who will be joining us in our in-person graduation this August. With the name kept anonymous, I would like to read just the opening of this message because I believe it captures what so many of our students feel when they join Quantum University. So I'll read this email for you. Dear Dr. Paul, you were with me from the very beginning, long before you ever knew my name. It started with a simple search about integrative medicine, and Quantum University appeared. A short video of yours popped up, just a few minutes long. Yet it opened something in me I didn't even know was waiting. Then I read Creative Integrative Medicine, which is Dr. Paul's first book, and something inside me shifted forever. At 59 years old, 10 years ago, I finally felt seen and understood. Everything I had believed, questioned, and wondered about medicine throughout my entire life was suddenly validated through your words and your vision. For the first time, I didn't feel like the weird one in my family for thinking outside the traditional boundaries of medicine. Instead, I felt that my curiosity, my intuition, and my lifelong desire to understand true healing actually had a place. I realized I wasn't wrong or alone. I had simply been waiting for someone to put into language what I had quietly lived in my heart for decades. This is a beautiful email. I know that email touched your heart, and I think it beautifully illustrates the transformation that so many of our students experience here at Quantum University. So it's incredible that everybody goes through this journey and they have these stories to share.
And it's just a little part of this email, and she also acknowledged your help, as a mentor, and to support her all the way, because the journey of a student sometimes has an up and down. Of course, studying, learning this concept, writing the PhD, the thesis. For some, it's look like a mountain, and you have she also talked in this email about how supportive you were, you and your team, and it's very touching. But one thing is like she's not unique, okay? How many times I heard this, it's like I was seeking for something. You put the word of what I already knew before. So, and it's like a recognition, it's like an acknowledgement of something that is already there. And how many people out there already have this intuition of something more, and this is where what they found in quantum university, and it becomes transformative because when you have a recognition, you say, hey, I'm not the only one. I'm not, she said, I'm not the weird one. And myself, I thought I was kind of a weird 40 years ago, with my pair. But as it goes, I found this community of people kind of be able to relate with this information. An information that in some way is integrative, is transformational. We have so many information out there now that are dividing, it's like we try to find, oh, what is the thing that make me different than you? But now it's like we touch something that we have all in common: the existence, the essence of the being, consciousness, the fiber of universe, where we all interconnected. So it's very touching when I got email like this. It's my reward too. To be able to accompany these people and open box, of
Yeah, we
understanding,
have
and also the healing, because healing is also the mission. You can teach. One day I met a teacher, he said, hey, you can teach about everything. There's so many theory up there, but the one who heals is the one is right. And we witness this healing. And this healing also need to be nurtured. It's not because you have this flash, this increase of awareness, this spontaneous healing, that the whole work is done. No, you're just at the beginning of the journey, where you have to keep nurturing this core of information.
Yes, it's incredible. So please, everyone, we would love to hear your story. If you have any question from Dr. Paul, please put in the chat and ask our questions. So I have a question actually from one of our students who's asking, what was your inspiration to start this university in Hawaii, and why Hawaii?
Why Hawaii? This is probably the last place I will think I will end. But it's like a quest. Yeah. When I came in America, the idea to have elaborate this curriculum that I am speaking about, this uh, extend curriculum that contain information about energetic medicine that is not teach in university. Because one of the challenge I had in Canada is all the time the pair will come say, hey, it's not scientific, it's not teaching university. Of course, when the model of reference is linear, I'm not saying is wrong. We need the hardcore science linear to put together what we know as medicine. But we need also to extend our understanding to what we call energetic medicine, holistic medicine, this old ancient system of healing that some has already millennium. Let's think about Taoist medicine and acupuncture. Homeopathy has like 300-400 years ago. So in other words, we need, and most of the time it's like you hit a wall with conventional medicine and say, hey, no, we cannot explain this non-scientific. So the challenge was to elaborate a curriculum that give this understanding. And of course, there is synchronicity where when you go your path, you search. Yeah, I met other people that were aligned in the same thinking, and these as in some way joined the university. I'm thinking about the Lipton and Dr. Goswami and Dr. Dispenza and Lynn Metegar. They were already aligned with this thinking of quantum physics. So in other words, and this is what brought me. I thought this will happen in California because it's more open to all kind of thinking. But at that point, to upgrade to become from an institute to university, the regulation changed. I have to wait. I start to look around, and then I met this individual, Dr. Herb. He already set up a university in Hawaii. There was not a lot of state where we could set up what we call a private university. And then, he guided me. He gave me the knowledge how to make it happen in Hawaii. And of course, at first I resist. I said, I don't want to be in Hawaii. It's too far. It's not central. But then when I came here a couple of weeks, I said, hey, I should have been born here. But there was the layout of regulation that allowed me to set up a university. And it's particular, but every time people address this, it's not a government university. You have to understand accredited university are in some way stamped by the government. That a private university has more latitude and flexibility. And this is exactly why I came here, because this project was possible. And then after 22 years of work, laborious work, because lay out the curriculum, it's not exactly simple, because you have to cover so many subjects from genetic to anatomy. We even create a specific anatomy course for subtle energy, the understanding of conflict, how emotion relate to the physical. So Taoist medicine was also another edge. The medicine of hammer also to understand the conflict. You had to go beyond the symptom, and going beyond the symptom, need to explore science approach and research that tie conflict to different symptoms. And this is, later on, this book of spontaneous healing from Deepak Chopra, and this is what we're talking in this video. These people has like the student a ha-ha moment where they connect the dot and they understand why this conflict has generated this problem or this imbalance. And this is the understanding of psychosomatic disease, because this is where the conventional medicine hit a resistance, a block, because they're good at, in some way, surgery, chemotherapy, but they don't necessarily heal the core of the problem. To heal the core of the problem, you have to go in this consciousness medicine, where you connect the heart and the mind together. So the layout of the curriculum is probably more complex than what I study even in medical university. And I think it's also a layout of what be the medicine of the future. I'm not saying we have reached a final point, but now we are in a path that where we can integrate science and spirituality, subtle medicine with physicality. So and this was a long way. And set up a university is not just the work of one person. You need a collegiality of teacher. You need a team that support also the message, marketing, and mentor, education that support the student. Like this lady who wrote, we didn't have the time to read the whole thing, but she referred to your support. And when she came to the PhD, that was for her also very challenging, but she got the support that lift her to write these papers. So so this is what it is. Why I came in Hawaii, it's a journey, it's a quest, and you never know where it bring you. And same thing for you, the student. You start, you are in a quest, you want to help others. Where this bring you. Maybe it's where you live in your community, or maybe somewhere else. And look at yourself, Dr. Tara. You came from Canada, originally even from Iran or whatever. This is a long journey before you end there. So when you follow your heart, you follow your mission. You're in the commitment. You end at the right place through these synchronicity. Yeah.
I think Quantum University has been like if everybody, like our mentors and our students, we are all like a family. And we love our students from all around the world. And as you mentioned, it's like a collective consciousness that creates this university. We are all co-creating this community. And as you always mention, we heal ourselves and we heal the world. And it's just it's amazing how we are all connected to this university, and just we can heal ourselves and we heal others. So thank you for sharing this, your wisdom with us. I have another question. Speaking of healing, how do you explain a spontaneous healing? That many of our students also talk about that when they started this journey, learning and healing, we always have this incredible stories about spontaneous healing. How do you explain that?
Yeah, I like to comment about this, because I witnessed this so many times. The way, originally in 9 days, Deepak Chopra, they talk about it. It's like a aha moment, it's like, in some way you hit a challenge and it's not obvious how you will get out of there. And then in some enlightenment moment, then you connect all the dots together and the healing happen. But also, I like to underline that it's just the beginning, because I saw a client going through this moment, but after that they didn't nurture this moment of a higher awareness. They didn't necessarily keep resolving the problem that was associated to this disease or imbalance. They didn't necessarily adopt the lifestyle that should have gone. In other words, it's like they have a up and then they go down because they go back to where they were thinking or the belief system they were thinking before. So it has to be support, nurture by your community, by yourself, or sometimes, yeah, it could be definitive, but you never know exactly. But in some way, this disease imbalance happened because you need to understand something. And how many times the client would say, "Oh, I'm not the same person, before my sickness or my challenge." And then, I'm salute, I applaud this new person. So in other words, there is some work to do. I'm not saying it's a hard work, but it could be challenging. Sometimes it also has to do with different specific emotion, fear. One of the most difficult is anger, forgiveness. The people, have hard time to let go trauma, someone that hurt them. It's daily life, you went through, if you are in a relationship, didn't go to trauma, and life really challenge you. So learn forgiveness, learn to surround yourself to something that is greater. So this is what we learn to our curriculum too. We learn ways, to surround and go to these, and then people don't realize, when you hit a challenge, you think you are the only one in the world, And I heard this from Lynn McTaggart. This guy had a cancer, very focused to this prayer group or meditation group and focused on himself, but nothing was happening. Something happened the day he started also to work on others. In other words, you're not healing alone. It's a collectivity. It's a collective consciousness, and was my goal to create the Noosphere Project, Heal Yourself, Heal Others. Because when you start to heal yourself, you also start to heal others. What you found for yourself, you also found it for the collective consciousness. And also when you meditate for others, this also reflect on yourself. We are a collective. Most of the time we count in this polarity of opinion or politics, but at somewhere we all seeking for the same thing, and helping to grow this collective consciousness is also part of our healing. You cannot heal alone. You need, and this is probably one of my motivation, create the university, because heal others, heal yourself. We're all in this quest, and it's not like something individual. So we talk about spontaneous healing. So then you start to be aware of what are the thread that brought you to this reality of imbalance. You need to work on this. Most of the time are the archetypal emotion we find in the Taoist medicine. The fear, the anger, or the lack of hope in solving your problem. And so we explore a spectrum of emotion that we can work with. And the best way is to work on them in meditation before any imbalance happens. So in other words, we still have to grow a lot. I think we are in this process now. Plus, we add this AI component I was talking about, but because AI can help you, in some way to gather information, complex, combine it together like a calculator to algorithm. But AI will never have the depth we can have when we reach this state in meditation of gamma waves and bliss and union with the universe. So this is a space that belongs to us. And spontaneous healing is part of this. It's part of this journey where you awake yourself to this deeper reality within that can heal you. I don't know if
Yeah,
that
that's
makes sense to you.
That's yeah, thank you. Thank you for the I loved how you explained that. But many of this spontaneous healing stories that we hear usually come when there is no ho they don't have any hope, and they kind of lost hope with the conventional medicine, and so and then when the conventional medicine treatments has reached their limits, so how should our practitioners approach the situations while remaining ethical and evidence-based? Because most of these healings, science and conventional medicine doesn't have any explanation for that. So how can our practitioners stay ethical and evidence-based when they...
Yeah. So this is where the healer make a huge difference. If you relate with a healer, a doctor, practitioner, that in some way, acknowledge, welcome the infinite possibility of the field, is totally different if you walk with someone that, is just see the world linear. In other words, you have a diagnostic, the client is in a box, and there is no other outcome than the prognostic we know. So in other words, you start to a wrong feet there. So this is why the healer is so important. This is why our students are so important, because they are in some way initiate to this knowledge of infinite possibility. And this make the whole difference. Doesn't mean that everybody will heal, no, but everybody will learn, everybody will grow, everybody will evolve. And sometimes it's sad, I come from, I don't want to talk negatively, but, I was, I went to medical school in Canada, Quebec, and now part of the solution that they are offering is what we call euthanasia. In other words, it's like you give up. You give up because nothing can happen. This miracle cannot happen. And the support of the community is not there. And the support of a healer, a practitioner that believe in the power of healing within is not there. So you have our student has a very important role. Not one can even pressure on them, but they are unique in some way. They are open to this awareness that everything is possible. So in other words, how can you create this spontaneous healing if you don't have this entanglement with the healer? And this is why Quantum University is so important. We are the voice out there that we train people to these modality of healing. And also I want to underline there's so many technology out there. I welcome them. But without any awareness, we are about not saying we are at the same place, but the awareness of what this technology can bring and entangle with this awareness is very important, you know. And
There is actually one.
it's very unique. And we see this in our practitioner, every graduation we have, we say, wow, how great are these students, these new graduates. And you witness this also every day in your work, this. Some are more difficult students, but a lot of them are really, they are beautiful. Like this woman who wrote us an email, a letter that is very touching. You can see come from her heart, and you can see that she went through a journey, a path, where she, her understanding of herself and her family and everything around her was more meaningful.
It is. We have thousands of amazing students and graduates. And the one that you mentioned, they're difficult because they are in their own journey to become, in their own journey to evolve and become healed through this journey. And there is one beautiful line in this music, in this video was every soul becomes sun. That's a beautiful line in that music video. And also there's another line that says where science and soul are woven as one. These are beautiful lines you have in that chapter. So let me see if you have any more questions. Um, do you believe physical illness always begins as a disruption in consciousness or unsolved emotional energy? That's a beautiful question.
Yeah, but she answered the question. It could be both.
Could be both, right?
Yeah, emotional. Well, but consciousness is all the time. You cannot dissolve consciousness, dissociate consciousness from anything. Okay, it can be expressed through emotion, conflict. And most of the time, the truth is already there. It's not what is. You just have to rediscover what is already there, because peace is already inside of you. Love and forgiveness, and it's already there. It's not necessarily something that you have to push or force. It's something that is already there, and as you awake, you rediscover this, perfect rainbow which is within. So we use this term. We could use others, but I think it's very beautiful. The rainbow body we talk in the Taoist medicine. So in other words, it's like this perfect blueprint is already within. It has been disrupted, I don't know, either by our ancestor or whatever. So, but we need to rediscover this perfect balance within, and it's a journey, that it's not because I'm teaching this, I'm not also at the searching and at the quest in every meditation of this perfect balance. So in other words, is it the emotion? Is it consciousness? Is the fiber of everything? It's the plasma that connects everything together. It's information. And this is why today, in some way, AI is so threatening, because we're talking about consciousness is information, but it's a vertical information. It's like, diving within. AI is more horizontal, can gather to an algorithm, embrace, all depend, the power you connected, you can embrace all these horizontally, all these connection, but cannot dive within in the essence of what is a human being. And sometimes people oppose this, you cannot go against, years ago, decade ago, when computer came in, yes, you can say, oh, I am against computer, internet. It's very difficult. You have to come with an understanding that integrate and making yourself greater than before, not shrinking, The transhumanism, this is in some way, it's kind of shrinking in front of this, thing that can absorb everything, to keep your dignity or your unicity of being a human being is to explore this diving within of awareness. In other words, access this outer state of alter consciousness. And this is what I have explored along all these years in meditation. Explore not only the alpha wave where you just feel good or relax, but gamma waves where you in some way it's a gravitational process where you dive within. So this is, and I hope student learning at Quantum University in some way, are in some way not influence, but connect to this type of information.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. It's just great to that you share your wisdom with us. And is there anything we may not ask and you would like to add before we finish this?
Yeah, just keep going to this journey. And then there will be a book coming, and what we heard recently, it will be, I will have the book in my hands at the Las Vegas at the graduation, so I can sign it. We also putting all these video in the Noosphere, so in other words, you can revisit them. We're planning to make a little movie of a documentary about the whole book too. So just be with us in this journey, and then please invite others. Las Vegas is kind of very close to many cities. It's a short flight. Even if you're not graduate, you're welcome to see the graduate. You're welcome to meet us, Dr. Tara and your team. And so in other words, we appreciate your participation. Join us at Las Vegas, and we're planning to have our book in the consciousness book, Medicine of Consciousness in our hands, and other information that you would be very appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We can't wait to see so many of you in person, and it's always great memories we make all together. And thank you, all of you, for joining us today. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to stay connected because we have more interviews and educational sessions coming your way. And until next time, take care, and we'll see you soon in our next interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.